think this could set you free?
It has been a while since the last God of War game was released back in 2022, and I was starting to wonder when the next one would be announced. Well, it's finally here because Sony has announced the next one in line, God of War Laufey, with a stunning 20-minute gameplay reveal. Ever since the big reveal, the fans have been going crazy because this one looks super impressive even though it's more of a spin-off. Here, they focus in on Faye, the wife of Kratos, who finds herself in an afterlife following her death. In this afterlife realm called the Everywhen, Faye finds out that she has to fight through powerful and ruthless gods from across mythology to protect all that she holds dear. But I was more keen to find out who would be the main villain. In this video, I will dive down into that so that you know what to expect, because the real villain might not be who you are thinking.
Touch me again, and I swear, I will kill you.
So, the game is going to go like this. I'm sure you all remember about the death of Faye. Now, she wakes up in a strange world following her funeral. What's worse is that the plans that she had in place to protect Kratos and her son Atreus are now threatened. It's time for her instincts to take over to protect her family. And in order to do so, she has to fight some of the most powerful gods in the Everywhen. What is the Everywhen? The domain of the villain explored. Before you understand the probable mainstay villains in the game, I think it's important to understand the realm called Everywhen, which is basically the backdrop of the entire story and the likely lair of the antagonist. This is an otherworldly plane of existence, and it serves as the origin of magic. It's also an afterlife for deities across all pantheons, which makes things all the more interesting. I mean, just imagine the mix of characters across mythologies that you can run into. Since this is the birthplace and endpoint of where all magic returns, the density of magic here is 1,000 times greater than the realms of pantheons outside it. Also, the realm is not just about the gods, because there are some other creatures here as well. The Everywhen is actually what tied the mask of creation, and one such mask, broken into 3 pieces, found its way into the hands of Odin. He attempted to use this to look through a rift between the Everywen. The 9 realms were created after Odin slayed Ymir, and it was Loki who destroyed the mask in Odin's possession, which caused it to get lost into the rift. So our protagonist Laufey arrived here after her death, and this is a hostile world where the most powerful gods fight for supremacy.
Resisting the truth.
Sekhmet is definitely a confirmed threat. I know we have no confirmation about the main villain yet, but the gameplay footage makes it pretty evident that we will see a lot of Sekhmet and Begti as they make life difficult for Faye. I already told you that the Everyone brings together gods across mythologies because I can't imagine how Faye would ever encounter the likes of Sekhmet and Begti otherwise. She is an Egyptian goddess, and since she's currently in the Everyone, it's safe to assume that she died at some point and ended up here. But I think there's one thing that makes her appearance even more interesting than the fact that she's the first major confirmed villain. She's probably the most mythologically loaded as the Egyptian god of war. Sekhmet is such a powerful entity that she nearly ended humanity, and her creator had to trick her into stopping. I am in awe of her powerful solar weapon, and clearly the protagonist has her task cut out against Sekhmet. If I go deeper into Egyptian mythology, she's one of the oldest deities in the Egyptian pantheon who was worshipped as far back as the Old Kingdom period. Her name literally translates into she who is powerful, so, she means business. And the gameplay suggests nothing different. She is described as a deity with the head of a lioness, and she is depicted wearing a sun disk on her head with a Uraeus cobra coiled around it. This signifies her status as a solar deity, and this is an extension of Ra's own divine fire given flesh and will. On the other hand, the lioness indicates her prowess as a hunter and predator. She's regarded as the force of righteous destruction, and aside from the goddess of war, she's also goddess of plague and devastation. But there is also another side to her personality in Egyptian religious thought, where she is seen as a goddess of medicine and healing as well. Now, this is not something unheard of in various cultures, where we have seen gods associated with both creation and destruction. As the daughter of the sun god Ra, Sekhmet is sometimes said to be his eye. But there's a part that makes her unpredictable and dangerous. She's famously known for being sent to Earth to kill all those who angered her father, and this is the lion-headed form that we know about. She went so crazy with her bloodlust that she started killing indiscriminately, and this needed some divine intervention. Ra made his priests color beet with red ochre and leave it in pots for Sekhmet to drink, and when she got extremely drunk, she passed out. When she woke up the next day, she forgot all about her bloodlust. In God of War, Laufey, Sekhmet's role is directly tied with her mythological nature. You see, she is Ra's instrument of order, and anything that disrupts solar law or operates outside divine hierarchy incurs her wrath. Faye arriving in the Everywhen without a proper order might just be what triggered Sekhmet to go after her. If you look at it this way, you'll realize that Sekhmet's actions are not a result of cruelty, but of what she's programmed to do. She must address Faye's presence here as a violation of established order. So what are her powers going to be like? The way I see it, her combat design will probably draw from several distinct power sets. Of course, you will see solar fire as a part of her abilities, and this will be her primary weapon. Wouldn't it be interesting if the gameplay had a fighting arena that would heat up the longer the fight continued? Also, there's a mythological narrative that indicates that the breath of Faye can carry plague, and this can be used smartly in the gameplay, with various environmental hazards. You can expect a lot of scorching beams and wide area fire attacks from Sekhmet, and maybe there will even be a part covering her berserker rage moment in the lioness avatar. I will appreciate if the gameplay also includes a version of her that is calmer and reasonable, because this is a character that actually has both sides. Regardless, she might be devastatingly powerful, and this could well turn out to be a memorable boss fight. But here, I'm not trading with the obvious because something tells me that there's more to it than what meets the eye. Begze is another major contender. The other big name among the line of villains set to appear in the game is Begze, and this is a Tibetan god who is also hailed as the god of war by the Mongols. I would be lying if I said Begze didn't remind me of Kratos, because just like him, Begze is quick to anger and violence. He's portrayed as a red-skinned deity engulfed in flames, and from the trailer, I think it can be assumed that he gets his fiery appearance from the flames burning on top of his head. He's known for being one of the most fearsome gods of his pantheon, and is said to be accompanied by a group of attendants known as the 29 Butchers. That paints quite a picture of his minions, doesn't it? I am very curious to see how his story arc goes in the gameplay, because going by the last scenes in the trailer, there's a good chance that he will be one of the first gods to get a taste of Faye's combat abilities. The figure seen restraining Faye after her capture in the trailer might be the 29 Butcher, but while he's definitely going to be a major antagonist, it's unlikely that he will be the main villain in the narrative. Which brings me to my ultimate question. Could the main villain be a god from another pantheon? I'm only speculating here, okay? But you can take these as educated guesses and not random imaginations. Whatever I have seen and heard so far about the game tells me that the franchise is looking to expand, and this is the reason that they have brought the Everywhen into the picture as a place where gods from different mythologies can coexist. Since the barrier has been lifted, there's nothing stopping the developers from picking a final villain from another entirely different mythology outside Norse mythology. I'll just give you a quick example of that. So, I just told you about Begze, and in one of his past lives, he was the brother of an Indian royalty named Drakden, who eventually became the Buddha Shakyamuni. This kind of interlinked lore makes it very easy to draft in figures from such a wide universe. An interesting idea could be to introduce English or Celtic mythology into the God of War franchise, and this could be done by bringing in Merlin from Arthurian legend. What if the sword that we see is actually the Excalibur, embedded seemingly in a cosmic cube? Now, Merlin wouldn't be an antagonist to Faye under normal circumstances, but what if he's corrupted? There's also been some very intriguing fan theories exploring the possibility of a future version of Kratos or Atreus who becomes villainous and emerges as the surprise main antagonist. There've also been talks of the real Loki appearing as an antagonist to claim his destiny, and it could be some cosmic entity that has emerged as a consequence of Kratos destroying two pantheons. Listen, I know that there are countless other characters who can be counted into this mix, and I'm convinced that Sekhmet and Begta are not the main bad guys in the game. Could the broken afterlife be the real enemy? I mean, who has made it a rule that the main villain has to be one of the gods? It could well be entirely environmental, and the true threat might be the disruption of magic inside the Everywhen. It has become very clear that Faye has to uncover the true nature of the Everywhen if she, hopes to find her way home, and while it's possible, as we know, it will be challenging. What makes me look at the Everywhen as the primary threat is because I perceive this as a cosmic sink that erases divine power permanently. The realm almost consumes the essence of the gods, and in a way, everyone from Faye to Sekhmet to Begta might be the victims here. I guess the waiting period is hard on everyone, and such interesting theories and discussions are definitely a good way to distract ourselves. I am aware of the official announcements, and it is quite likely that the actual news of the main villain will have to wait for now. But don't let that stop you from typing your theories in the comments below about who the surprising new antagonist might be. Also, if you appreciate the efforts to bring you this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.